Now we're going to go into our inspection checklist. With this course, there's going to be a series of documents that you get. One of the documents is going to be on the maintenance inspection checklist for armorers. This isn't something I made up. This came from actual law enforcement armor courses put on by Colt, Rock River Arms. It's kind of a compilation of a few of the things from Colt, some of the things from Rock River Arms, and it's all of the areas that you need to inspect on your rifle. It's something that we use every year. Every rifle in the department gets inspected, and we go through them step by step by step, all the way to the end to make sure that that weapon is going to function properly. If we find a part that needs to be replaced, we replace it. Now, most of the items on that checklist are going to be fairly self-explanatory. There's 3 areas that I really want to demonstrate to you. I think the others, you guys are going to get them. It's easy. Look at the hammer. Is it broken? Nope. How's the spring? Nope, looks good. But some of the things that are less than self-explanatory are things like headspace. I have here 3 headspace gauges. I talked to you about this during the tools, and I believe them to be an essential item for an armor. They come as go, no-go, and field. The go gauge means that the bolt should close on it. The no-go, the bolt shouldn't close on it, but if it does, then the last ditch effort is the field gauge. If the bolt closes on the field gauge, never ever fire that weapon. You'll either need to replace the barrel extension or the barrel extension and the bolt, or maybe just the bolt until you get it down to where just the go gauge closes on it. It's really important. The headspace is the distance from the shoulder of the case in the chamber to the bolt face, and it's measured in thousandths of an inch. When it gets too much pressure, the rear of the case can be extending out too far. That pressure in there can be 60,000 pounds per square inch or more, and it can cause a blowout. If you've ever seen one of these rifles blow apart, it's not a pretty picture, and it can cause serious damage to the person shooting it. So pay really strict attention to this. Now let me demonstrate this to you. The first thing you do is you're going to remove the bolt carrier group, and I've already pre-done this, but I've taken off the extractor. This should always be done with the extractor off. The extractor snaps over the rim of a case. This is made of high carbon hardened steel, and snapping over the rim of this can cause damage to that extractor. Under normal circumstances, it's snapping over brass, which is very soft in comparison. So take the extractor out. You don't want to cause damage to it. You also don't want to cause damage to your go, no-go, and field gauges. So I've removed the extractor. Place it back in, and then I'm going to use, in this case, this is the go gauge. When I put it in, I'm going to put it into the chamber. Now I'm going to do my best to show this to you as it's in the chamber, and I'm going to push the bolt in, and it should lock, just like that.
Are you enjoying what you're learning? Then subscribe to the American Gunsmithing Institute's channel right now. Thanks.
Now you can remove the bolt and allow that go gauge to come out. The next one I'm going to use is the no-go. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to insert it in the chamber, and I am going to attempt to close the bolt carrier group, and it does not close. It will not go in all the way. I don't know if you can see that it's not locked into the lugs. So in this case, the go gauge worked. That's good. And the no-go did not work. Also good. If I was going to really go kind of above and beyond, I already know that the no-go gauge doesn't work, so the headspace on this particular upper and bolt carrier group is fine. I can put in that field gauge just for one last confirmation, and you can see that it goes in even less. Yeah. So I know that the headspace on this particular upper receiver and bolt carrier group is fine. Now this bolt carrier group, bolt and bolt carrier, may be fine in this with this barrel extension. It may not be fine in the next one. There are always tolerances whenever something is made, machine made, made by humans. We're subject to error. They're subject to tolerances. So you need to check them all. In this case, this one works just fine. Now, the next thing I want to show you that is not self-explanatory, and I'm going to take everything out of this receiver. This is the throat erosion gauge, and it's going to measure the area in front of where the bullet is in the chamber, that area between where the chamber and where the rifling starts. There is a small area. It's kind of angled. It allows the bullet to go in and start cutting into or getting cut by the rifling and start that spinning action. But this measures, and when it gets too much, it's going to get further and further in, and it's done, it gets cut by hot flaming gases and little abrasive bits of gunpowder that are being forced out of the front of that case. After a while, it erodes so much that it reduces accuracy. Something that may give you a 1-inch accuracy group at 100 yards may all of a sudden end up being 6, 8, 10 inches. Okay, pipe plate. Well, think about under stress from law enforcement perspective. Under stress, your normal groups that may be like this can expand. So you don't want something to start like this to expand out. You put others in harm's way other than the intended target. So it takes quite a number of thousands of rounds in order to eat up the throat, but it should be inspected every year. I'm going to insert this into the chamber, push it in, and then I'm going to show it to you. Hopefully you can see that, and what we need to look at are the lines on here. Starting with the very first one closest to the end of the throat erosion gauge, count back until it becomes flush with right here. In this case, this one's on the second one. That's still fine. It's up to you to determine how much erosion you're going to allow. I think up to 5 or 6, probably okay. I've not found any of ours in my department that are past 3, and we shoot them every single month. So it takes quite a while for it to do it, but it's important ultimately for accuracy and liability in the long run. So that's how you would measure. Like I said, each of these individual lines. The next thing I want to show you is this little device right here. This is a firing pin protrusion gauge. There needs to be a minimum amount that the firing pin protrudes from the bolt face, and there shouldn't be more than 36 thousandths. Why is that important? If the firing pin protrudes too far, it can actually pierce the primer and allow hot flaming gas to come back towards you. I don't think that's a good thing. So we need to keep that inspected and make sure that it doesn't become too much, and it's usually not a problem, but I'll show you how to check it. Now, one end of this says minimum. This end, I don't know if you guys can see it or not. One end says 0.028 minimum. The other end, 0.036 max. So, with your finger pushing the back of the firing pin and the bolt all the way back into the bolt carrier. See if I can turn this around so it makes it a little easier for you to see. We take the minimum, and you probably can't hear it or see it very well, but I can feel it clicking. I put it down flat on the bolt face and I run it over. See, it's actually stubbing right there on the firing pin. So it kind of clicks over it. That means it's at least that amount. Now I turn it over to the maximum side and rides over it just fine. It never touches. There's a little bit of space between the firing pin and that protrusion gauge, so I know it's a minimum of 28 but no more than 36. So this firing pin has the proper amount of protrusion. So those are the three areas that are probably the most important and the least self-explanatory. The rest of the inspection list will be right there in the documents. Go through it, look at it, you'll see exactly what everything is, and use that at least once a year to maintain your weapons.
Did you enjoy this sample? If you want to learn a lot more about this firearm, then click on the link to buy the Complete Armors course from AGI, which includes instruction in design and function, along with disassembly and reassembly down to the last part, cleaning and lubrication. Hey, click now.